There is a terrifying moment that happens to almost everyone. You are driving home from work or school. You have the radio on. You are singing along. You are distracted. But then you arrive. You turn off the engine. The music stops. And for a few seconds before you open the car door, there is absolute silence. In that silence, a feeling creeps up your spine. It's not fear of the dark, it's fear of yourself. You immediately reach for your phone. You check a notification. You rush inside to turn on the TV. You do anything, literally anything, to avoid being alone with your own thoughts for more than 10 seconds. We live in a society that has pathologized being alone. If you eat alone at a restaurant, people look at you with pity. If you stay home on a Friday night, your friends ask if you are depressed. If you don't have plans, you feel like a loser. We have conflated two very different words, loneliness and solitude. And because we don't know the difference, we are suffering. Loneliness is the pain of being alone. It is a feeling of lack. It is looking at the world and feeling like you don't belong, like you are missing out, like you are separated from the tribe. Loneliness drains you. It makes you desperate for validation. Solitude is the glory of being alone. It is a feeling of abundance. It is looking at the world and choosing to step back for a moment, to recharge, to think, to build. Solitude strengthens you. It makes you independent of validation. The problem is that you cannot have solitude if you are terrified of loneliness. Most people spend their entire lives running from themselves. They fill every gap in their day with noise, podcasts in the shower, music while walking, Netflix while eating, scrolling while waiting in line. They are terrified that if they stop consuming for just 1 minute, they might have to face a thought they don't like, a regret, a fear, a question like, am I actually happy? But here is the truth that the great philosophers, monks, and inventors have known for thousands of years. You cannot build a strong character in a crowd. Look at the people you admire. Look at the people who actually change the world. Nikola Tesla said, "The mind is sharper and keener in seclusion and uninterrupted solitude." Originality thrives in seclusion, free of outside influences beating upon us to cripple the creative mind. Be alone. That is the secret of invention. Be alone. That is when ideas are born. He didn't say being alone is nice. He said it is the secret. If you're constantly plugged into the matrix of other people's opinions, how can you ever know who you are? You are a mix of your parents' expectations, your friends' tastes, and the internet's trends. You are a copy of a copy. To find the original version of yourself, you have to unplug. You have to go into the wilderness, metaphorically or literally. This video is not about becoming a hermit. It is not about hating people. Humans are social creatures. We need community. But you cannot be a good member of a community if you are broken inside. You cannot love someone else if you cannot stand to be in a room with yourself. So how do we master the art of being alone? How do we transform painful loneliness into powerful solitude? It starts with reframing the void. When you feel lonely, your brain is telling you, I need something external to fix me. You are looking for a distraction, a person, a message, a like. When you practice solitude, you tell your brain, I have everything I need right here. Imagine your mind is a house. For most people, the house is a mess. There are dirty clothes on the floor, dishes in the sink, the TV is blaring, the windows are broken. It's chaotic. No wonder they don't want to be there. No wonder they want to go out to a party or scroll Instagram. Staying home in that mind is unpleasant. The art of being alone is simply the act of cleaning the house. It is taking the time to wash the dishes, process your emotions. It is organizing the clothes, structuring your thoughts. It is turning off the TV, silencing the ego. When your mind is clean, when it is orderly, being alone becomes a luxury. It becomes your favorite place to be.
You start to protect your solitude not because you hate people, but because you love the peace you have built inside. So, how do you begin this process? How do you clean the house? It starts with accepting boredom. We have spoken about boredom before, but we need to go deeper. In the modern world, boredom is treated like a disease. If you are bored, it means you are failing. It means you are not productive or not entertained. But boredom is actually a filter. When you remove the external noise, the first layer you hit is boredom. It is uncomfortable. It is itchy. You feel the urge to move, to check, to do. But if you push through that layer, if you sit with the boredom for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, you hit the second layer, creativity. Your brain is a problem-solving machine. It hates a vacuum. If you don't give it content to consume, it will start creating its own content. This is why you get your best ideas in the shower or while driving or right before you fall asleep. These are the only moments in your day when you are not consuming. Now, imagine if you carved out deliberate time for this every single day. Not just accidental solitude in the shower, but intentional solitude in a chair. You sit down, no phone, no book, no music. At first, the thoughts that come up will be garbage. Anxiety, to-do lists, embarrassing memories. This is the mental trash floating to the surface. Let it float. Let it pass. Eventually, the water clears. And then the real thoughts appear. The solutions to problems you've been stuck on for months. The business ideas, the artistic visions, the deep realizations about your relationships. This is the alchemy of solitude. You are turning the lead of boredom into the gold of insight. But there is a trap. You cannot just be physically alone. You must be mentally alone. If you are sitting in a room by yourself, but you are texting your friend, you are not alone. You are psychologically connected to them. If you are scrolling Twitter, you are in a room with millions of people shouting at you. To master the art of being alone, you must master the art of disconnection. You have to be willing to disappear. This scares people. They think, if I don't reply instantly, they will forget me. If I'm not updated on the news, I will be left behind. This is the FOMO, fear of missing out, talking. But look at the reality. When you are always available, you are cheap. Your attention has no value because everyone has access to it. When you disappear, when you go offline to cultivate your garden, you become valuable. People respect those who have boundaries. They respect those who can say, I am taking time for myself. When you come back from your solitude, you have something to offer. You bring back new ideas, new energy, new perspectives. You are not just echoing what you heard on the news. You are speaking from your own well of wisdom. Think about the concept of monk mode that is popular right now. Why are young men obsessed with it? Because they feel the fragmentation of their souls. They feel themselves being pulled in 1,000 directions by algorithms and obligations. They want to be whole again. Being alone is the glue that puts you back together. It is in solitude that you define your values. When you are with a group, you subconsciously mimic them. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You agree with opinions you don't actually hold. You suppress parts of yourself to fit in. This is natural. It is a survival mechanism. But if you never step away, you forget who you are beneath the mask. In solitude, the mask falls off. There is nobody to perform for. You don't have to be the funny guy, or the smart guy, or the tough guy. You just are. You face your demons. And yes, you have demons. We all do. Insecurities,
regrets, jealousy, anger. When you are busy, you shove these demons into the closet. You drown them out with noise. But they are still there, scratching at the door, influencing your behavior in ways you don't understand. In solitude, you open the closet door. You look the demon in the eye. You have a conversation with it. Why am I jealous of my friend's success? Why am I so angry at my father? Why am I afraid of starting this project? You process these emotions, you digest them, and once they are digested, they lose their power over you. This is painful work. It is much easier to watch a movie than to analyze your own psyche. But this is the difference between a child and an adult. A child needs to be distracted. An adult can sit with their pain and transform it. So how do you integrate this? You don't need to move to a mountain cave. You just need to build solitude pockets into your life. Start small. Can you eat one meal a day without a screen? Just you and the food. Can you go for a 20-minute walk without headphones? Just you and the world. Can you spend the first 30 minutes of your morning in silence? These small pockets of time accumulate. They build a reservoir of inner peace. And then try something bigger. Take yourself on a date. Go to a cinema alone. Go to a coffee shop alone. Go to a museum alone. At first, you will feel the spotlight effect. You will think everyone is looking at the lonely loser. But then you will realize nobody cares. They are too busy fighting their own demons. And in that moment, you will feel a surge of power. You are doing what 99% of people are too afraid to do. You are enjoying your own company. When you learn to be alone, you become invincible in relationships. You stop needing people to complete you. You are already complete. You want people in your life, but you don't need them to survive emotionally.
This makes you more attractive. Needing nothing attracts everything. People are drawn to those who are self-sufficient, those who have a rich inner world. You become a rock for others. When the world is chaotic, you are the calm center because you have practiced sitting in the storm of your own mind and finding peace. Let's go back to that moment in the car. The engine turns off, the music stops, the silence hits. Instead of panicking, instead of reaching for the phone, lean back, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Welcome the silence. It is not an enemy. It is an old friend waiting to tell you the truth. You are not lonely. You are simply alone. And in a world of noise, that is the greatest luxury you can possess. Master the art of being alone, and you will never be lonely again.